If anyone had any questions on the Joostrap thing, because it's running out of time, so I've got probably about 10 sites now that I've done on Joostrap just since it came out of 3 or 4 months ago or something like that. And so if you had any questions, I can cover those off.
Yeah. How do you add those libraries and functionalities, and how do you know all the classes they're using? So it's all part of the documentation.
Yeah, well, with the documentation on the Twitter Bootstrap site, there's bring up the what is it? Bootstrap dot that one. Yeah. So basically, what you've got in there, you've got go onto the scaffolding. Yeah. So in here, you've got your global styles that you can see on the left-hand side there, and this website, just so you know, it's also built with Bootstrap, so everything you see here that it's doing is sort of default stuff.
Yeah, but go back.
And you've got a few different things. One's your global styles, so that's like your basic headers, hero units, all of that sort of stuff, and what your text is. Then you've got your grid system. The grid system is basically what Phil was covering there, where you've got your different elements and so forth. It's built off a 12 grid system, which is the same as like Foundation and stuff like, and other responsive things are all sort of going off that type of thing. Your fluid grid system is basically where things are moving in and out, and they'll move in underneath each other. Now, before these frameworks were around, you used to have to use stuff like jQuery, Masonry, and stuff like that. You can still use that if you want to actually see the stuff fly around the screen. But it's just adding more overhead when it doesn't really add any real functionality to it. And then you can go down to your layouts. So,
mouse
tabs. Which is your fixed and fluid. Now, what was it, Jen that was talking about the fixed and the fluid this morning? She's actually didn't quite get it properly. What the fixed layout is that it'll actually have a specified max width, right? And the max width isn't like a width in the old sense of the word. A max width sets it that that's the widest it's going to get, and then anything underneath that, when the screen goes down, it'll go in what people used to think fluid was. A fluid's a full screen width with whatever padding on the sides and goes in and out, whereas the fixed under the responsive templates actually has a maximum width and then only reduces down from there, which is very, very important. And because if you've got someone with a 30-inch screen, they can't read a line of text from over here, from over here all the way across that way. So having the max width is fairly important, especially if you've got a lot of text. And then down from there is when we actually start getting into what I classify as responsive design. And the responsive side of it, if you just scroll down a little bit more, from sort of what I sort of look at is when you're starting to look in your breakpoints and your different devices here, and they're the default Bootstrap breakpoints that they've got there. And down a little bit more, and these are the classes that Phil was talking about just then, and they're the same. You can use it because Bootstrap now ships, Bootstrap classes basically now ship with Joomla as default. This allows you to load or make not visible different elements depending on the device size. Now, if you go back to a mobile app point of view, if you're designing for particular devices, it's actually really good, because what you can do here is you can actually specify that I want my buttons to look like a mobile phone buttons if that has a visible phone, for example, in my module classes. So your module class can be exactly the same thing as your other modules, and if it's visible phone, you can apply a CSS class so that it looks like iPhone buttons, or acts like iPhone buttons. And then if you've got a visible or and the same thing for hidden desktop, you can do the same thing. Now, if you've got something that's hidden phone or visible desktop, you can go back to having nice what you'd expect to see on large desktop screens as your buttons and so forth that are in there. So unless you're requiring something to actually be installed into a phone or a mobile device, it means that you can actually customise the look and feel and what displays to the different people based on the type of device that they're using in their screen resolution, which goes away, which allows for, well, most of the sites I do, allows for us not to have to even look at doing custom apps for us to be able to use the devices. And with say like the newspaper websites that they were talking about before, I think you were saying that they're moving away from having full apps running on the App Store because they can't get the advertising revenue and everything like that. They'll still have an app on the store, but the app just redirects to their responsive website. So it actually still installs on the screen. Just when they press it, they go off to the website. And as far as the person knows, because you're using these types of elements, they don't know that it's really going back onto the website.
Yeah, technical writers groups and technical communicators are wanting the clients to follow that principle. Take it back to their websites, it minimises.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And the really great thing about that is that you're still getting the exposure on the App Store or the Android store or whatever it is, but then you're directing them back in. And basic rule of marketing, always direct the person back to your website because that's where you're going to get the conversion, that's where you're going to get the money or the subscription or whatever it is there. Whereas you can't do that in the App Store, it's just not possible.
A good example, if you want to see migrated from being non-responsive to responsive, the BBC, they've actually created a whole blog about their journey from turning their site into a responsive site.
Yeah, and you can actually do that. A lot of it's like I was saying, a lot of it's based on percentages and applying the right classes. And a lot of the problems with the old modules and extensions in Joomla and also the old templates is they don't have the correct classes assigned to them, and also a lot of the fixed width things where they've got a defined pixel width is making it really, really difficult for that side of the thing. But you can do probably 80% of the conversion from non-responsive to responsive by doing a find and replace throughout the website on the code. And Peter from No Number's got a good extension that does a lot of that for you. Yeah.
Interesting too, Adobe are bringing out a set of tools, open source tools, that really help build responsive sites. HTML.adobe.com, have a look at their source document.
There's a third-party tool. I can't think of it. I'll put it on Twitter later when I find it. It's basically based on the Twitter Bootstrap. What you do is literally a drag and drop of how you want your interface to look like. And as you build the interface, it automatically connects all the classes. And you select the colors, you select the buttons, you select your layout, and that becomes your basically exported as you actually template that you're going to work with, and then you add your PHP content to it.
And you can do not a dissimilar thing. If you go over and customize.
Yep.
And this is a great thing about Phil's templates, because the Bootstrap CSS and the Bootstrap JavaScript is put in as default. So when a new version comes out, you can put it straight in there. Your custom CSS is in a custom CSS file, so you can you retain all of your overrides, and you can update as you wish to. Now, this is saying all the bits and pieces that you load. This all comes with the default Bootstrap stuff. You've got your jQuery plugins and all your bits and pieces, but here you've got custom variables. So you can put a heap of stuff in here that you want, being your colours, what your links are, your font weights, everything else that's there. You can build it in and put it in there. Download that as your custom Bootstrap file, copy it into the CSS and JavaScript directory, and there's your custom website. Skinned, ready to go. So buttons, everything.
Does this mean more than ever then you have to become the CSS maestro in order to be able to use CSS?
No, there's you don't really have to write code at all. If you wanted green buttons, you can go in here.
Yeah.
There's green there, but you've got
Changing that button to I or whatever. Where's the buttons?
If you go back up just a bit, yeah. But see there, you've got your link colours and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your backgrounds for success, which is, you know, when you've got a alert that comes up at the top. And so literally you can go in here, set up all your colours and themes and everything that you want, press download that's, you know, at the bottom of the form, and it spits out. And it understands things like white, grey light, and all of those types of things. You can, there's not really a great deal of stuff that you really need to do from the point of view. I mean, if you're using all your colours that actually have names, you don't even have to have the colour codes for doing any of it. You just say red, blue, green, yellow, orange, dark red, light red, and spit it out, and it'll create all the CSS code and the JavaScript for you, and you just copy it into the directory and it's there. It's done. There's Bootstrap skins, or
Let's Google it.
Wrap Bootstrap, that's what it's called. Has a whole heap of Bootstrap templates that people have customised and uploaded for free.
What was it called, sorry?
Wrap Bootstrap.
R-A-P?
Yeah, no, W-R.
R-W-R-A-P.
It's got stuff up there, and also on the Bootstrap website, yeah, that one there. So they've got you can see there's 12 open source templates, I know, and these are the paid ones as well. So you can see, like, these are the application development type layouts and other layouts like this and stuff like that. And because it's based on Bootstrap and all they're doing is applying CSS classes and overrides, you can get pretty much these websites regardless of your platform. Because all you're doing is uploading the Bootstrap stuff. So if you've got a Joomla website or a WordPress website, once you put the Bootstrap styles and everything in there, it'll look pretty much the same on the front end.
And the speed, then the template speed?
These guys, like you're saying, there's 8,000 developers or something stupid. I don't know, what did you say, 8,000?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Max.
And so the files, because they've been working on it a few years, so they've gotten rid of all the crap. And the JavaScript's tiny, and the CSS is tiny, and it also, when it creates the normal CSS file and JavaScript file, it also creates minified versions of it.
All right.
So it's nothing compared to a normal template.
You've got all those hidden and show classes that you showed us before. Since those are based in display none, how much does it bloat the site? Is it still?
It still loads. It still loads those things, and that's.
Yeah, it loads the whole lot,
Yeah.
even though you're not displaying it. Performance-wise, how does it perform?
See, I think what you can do is some of
You
these
look quite happy
yeah.
with it, so that's a
Yeah,
consensus.
look, that on that side of things,
Yeah.
that's not the problem.
Okay.
The biggest problem with responsive websites and so forth at the moment is image loading on different devices. There's a couple of jQuery plugins which actually modify. What it does, it goes in and looks at the different breakpoints and will actually generate, the first time through, it generates on the fly optimized sized image for the screen resolutions, and then every single time after that it loads from the cache. And that's one of the ways of doing it, and it seems quite good.
What about pixel density? Does it do queries for that as well?
Yeah, it's quite good. It's way beyond my understanding level, but yeah, plug it in and it goes.
Because now we have those retina displays, and yeah, they look beautiful, but hey, we've got to create websites that use them. So.
Yeah, and that's part of the, well, that's part of the benefit of the responsive websites is that it doesn't matter whether it's a screen on the front of a TV or on the front of a fridge, whether it's someone's telly or it's a Retina iPad, it looks right on all of those. But yeah, the biggest issue is the images, and because you don't want to load your great big images on an iPhone that's this big. There are some workarounds like the jQuery stuff, and also if anyone was in when Norm was producing beforehand, he was talking about automatically generating thumbnails, is running some sort of JavaScript on there, so that as you are uploading your images into something like that, whilst your images are quite large, say if they're above, I don't know, say it's 100K or something in size, every image that's larger than 100K in size reduces down to something of, only 400 pixels wide or 300 pixels wide or something. Automatically generate that and then load that for any of these queries.
And just
that's where I see a solution.
Yeah. So just to finish up the process you have in here, so I can see a download button in there. So what does it download? Does it download like a PHP file plus CSS and JavaScript? So what is it?
Just JavaScript and CSS.
Yeah, JavaScript and CSS file.
Bundles all the library together and just download that.
Yeah, and then you go across to your template directory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about your markup? What about your PHP file?
There is no change to the PHP file.
So you got to do it. You got to do this yourself.
No, you don't have to do it.
Where do you get it from?
You just develop your normal PHP template. So except what you're doing is instead of calling different classes, you're just calling those classes.
You can go to your template file, do a lookup and replace.
That's all you download.
Yeah. And what's the size of your download?
Good question. Let's go back here. Computer says no.
Computer says no.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do downloads.
And the thing for the templates, and Phillip was sort of saying at the end that one of the things is that everyone would be working together off the same framework. And the reason you're doing that is because the classes of the different elements on the pages here are specified by the Bootstrap framework. So everyone that's developing for Bootstrap has the same classes applied to all of the elements on their screen. The difference with the templates is that Phil's, for example, has left, right, main, above content, above top, or something like that. Which is great because it actually makes sense. Whereas like the new, is it ISIS on the front end or the back end? What's the front end one? ISIS is back end. What's the new front end one? ProStart. Yeah. ProStart that's on the front end, for some reason, has like position 7, position 3, or something like that. And you sit there and you're going, what is this thing doing? It's really, really annoying. Whereas Phil's is actually quite good because it's just left, right.
Okay. Now I'm understanding what you're saying. So that template, position 7, 8, is it from the Twitter Bootstrap?
No, the template areas are template dependent.
So you still have to design to develop them. That's what I'm saying. That part you still have to develop.
Well, you have to tell it where to stick stuff in a page. So you got your index PHP file. The index PHP file will have the different IDs for the different areas as the XML page.
Instead of including your local CSS file that you would normally develop, you would actually call these CSS files here, and they'll handle all your.
Yeah. So and because of the scaffolding, and the fact that it just moves down, having left, right, centre, above, and below is sort of all you really need in your areas, because as soon as you've covered the 12 spans, it moves down to the next row. Yeah. So if all your spans add up to 24, you'd have 2 full rows got to be above or wherever.
I'm a little lost in starting the whole thing. I mean, in Joomla 3, the Bootstrap thing is in. That's
There's also
but in 2.5.
in 2.5 you can run it. The Joostrap templates run in 2.5 and version 3.
But this is an installable template from Phillip then, where you can actually just download it. And
It's like the starting price for Phil stuff's like $50, and it comes with a whole heap of responsive modules and other bits and pieces you can download. So like, it's nothing. Yeah, it's got to be as kids do.
Thank you.
Yeah.